Hey everybody, I'm Carlos Correa. Welcome to Fronteras, a Changing America. On the program, Las Cruces City Councilor Dolores Connor will talk about her campaign for mayor, her plans to improve public safety, the local economy, and the quality of life. Plus, we'll discuss all those unfinished city projects. But first, an El Paso group works hard to get young people involved in the political process. Members are taking their passion online using social networking sites to educate and pass along some very important information. It can sometimes be a difficult job, but Alfredo Longoria loves every minute of it.
When you're young, you focus mainly on your social life, but I mean, sooner or later you will get to an age where what the local and state and federal politicians, what they do will affect their lives. So, I mean, it's extremely important for everybody to get involved and especially to be informed.
Longoria is the president of the El Paso Young Democrats, an organization that promotes, educates, and develops future leaders of the party within the El Paso community.
What we try to do as an organization is to go out into the community, register people to vote, inform people about the upcoming elections. We work with other organizations to promote voting and educate our minors who are between the ages of 14 and 17 we educate them about the importance of voting and getting out to vote.
Much like the college Republicans at New Mexico State University, these young Democrats help engage other students in politics, something they say could be a bit of a challenge.
I think it's easier for them to tell you what's happening with Selena Gomez and Justin Bieber than it is what's happening with President Obama and Congress.
During an election year, the Young Democrats organize phone banks. They canvass neighborhoods and help candidates win their campaigns.
As our organization, we utilize the members of our organization. We utilize social networking sites. We do a lot of events such as fundraisers, barbecues, paint-a-thons. We do a lot of political activities, community activities, where we educate younger people that are not part of our organizations on what the issues are and what's going on in politics and why they should take a stand.
Social networking sites such as Facebook helps the group stay connected.
It is one of the biggest social media tools out there. People use it to advertise, people use it to market themselves, people use even probably to even sell certain products that they have. I think it shouldn't be put in the back burner, that you should use it to promote political issues and stuff. There's a lot of you could get a lot of people on board with if you all agree on the same issues. You could voice your message out there to you're talking millions of people out there, not even people that are not even living in your own district, so you could voice your opinion. You could get input from that also. It makes it really easy, from the comfort of your own home and so to communicate with everybody around the world.
The group uses the site to promote upcoming events, meetings, and stir up conversation on local, state, and national issues.
There's a lot of information out there and stuff like that. Your resources are unlimited. It just depends on what kind of resources you tap into and stuff. You have media out there. You have Facebook posting. You have political sites that are out there that you have bloggers out there. It's just what I encourage young voters to do is basically get informed, and from that point on to make their own decisions, so that not just jump on the bandwagon of what someone else is saying and go with that certain idea. If they have different ideas, they should go out and voice it and let them be heard, so maybe people can make better judgment and better decisions on what route a certain issue should take.
And Councilor Dolores Connor joins us now. She currently represents District 2 in the city of Las Cruces. Welcome to the program.
Hi, how are you today?
Oh, I'm doing good. Councilor, you've been busy not only representing your district, but also running a campaign. Tell us a little bit about why you decided that you wanted to run for the mayor of the city of Las Cruces.
Well, I've been a city councilor since 2003, and I was reelected in 2007. And I got involved in council because I wanted to see my community that I grew up in move forward and grow. And over the past 3 or 4 years, I have seen more change as far as losing our culture and our neighborhoods, our traditional neighborhoods, and our community as a whole. And I want to bring that into being mayor of Las Cruces.
Now, you've been on the council for a while. Can you tell us a little bit about some of your accomplishments so far?
Well, in the 8 years that I've been on City Council and throughout my whole career, I've been very involved in not-for-profits across our community, basically centered around children and children's needs, such as Big Brothers Big Sisters and court-appointed special advocates where children are struggling. And through that, when I was the mayor pro tem, I had a program that I developed called Today's Kids, Tomorrow's Future, in which we mentored 10th and 11th graders to finish high school. And in that program, we used not just how to get through school, but what happens after school, whether you're going into higher education or whether you're going to go into the workforce. And so that was a very, very good program for the students that were participating. And to this day, we have a couple of them graduating from college now and others that have moved into their careers. I'm very proud of that program.
How important is it to you to have these children that go to college here, attend school here, and to have them stay here and help the community grow? Because we see a lot of people or a lot of students graduating and then moving on to different cities.
Right, and we were just talking about my own children have all moved away, and one has now moved back into town after 11 years. But I think a lot of the community, those students who are attending in MSU, a large population of them are not from this area to begin with. And those that are from this area are looking for a change or to spread their wings a little before they decide to come back to Las Cruces, like my own. We have our son living in Santa Monica, and in probably another 5 to 12 years he'll be moving back to Las Cruces also. Those students, though, that are leaving engineering degrees and business degrees, I think have an opportunity here in Las Cruces through some of the economic development that has taken place. Sapphire Energy is one of those projects that takes a lot of students, and they are in the research and development fields. White Sands offers a lot of opportunity, but we're lacking in the manufacturing and the technology type jobs that should be in Las Cruces that would keep these other types of students here. And I've also been very active with the early college high school, and we're in the first year completed in that project, and that early college high school will have students finishing high school with a high school diploma and an associate's degree at the same time, which will kind of expedite how they're going to move into either higher education or go into a technical field.
Back to your family, did your family play a big role in your decision?
To run for office? Well, my family is very supportive, and we have, I have a very large family too, aside from those that my kids and my husband, and so my roots in Las Cruces are very, very deep, and my family's been here for over a couple of 100 years, and so I have a lot of support based on that.
Now, recently, according to your website, you got a big endorsement.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. Last week, I received the endorsement from the Firefighters Union for the City of Las Cruces, Union 2362, and I met with them, and they have endorsed me in my prior election in 2007, and so they're continuing that support now.
And they do support your views on public safety. Can you talk a little bit about what we need to do in the city of Las Cruces to perhaps improve public safety?
Public safety has, in my opinion, been pushed off to the side, and I think it's time for local government to get back into basics. And the basic service that a community should have is public safety. We are just recently reviewed a report put out by the insurance services, and we are 4 fire stations behind for the size of community that we have. The last fire station was built in 1999, and we've grown 27,000 people in the last in this past decade. So services need to be not compromised but improved. And I think that we have to look at public safety in that manner, and that goes along with police stations also, and the number of police that we have on our streets on a daily basis. We're operating under a budget and police officers in an economy that's slow, but with a lot more people than we had. So we need to focus back on public safety as a #1 project in Las Cruces.
Do you see in the future, as the city gets bigger, to perhaps get more officers on the street?
Absolutely, and along with that, I chair the Mesilla Valley Regional Dispatch Authority, which is the 911 Center. Mm-hmm. And as chair of the 911 Center and that board, the board is made up of myself and police and fire from city and county. And with that comes the basics to public safety, that when you call 911 and your spouse may be having a heart attack, you'd like to have service done quickly. And so every second counts. Our center is located in a flood zone. It has flooded in the past. It's located downtown for Homeland Security. That's not the prime location for having your 911 center. And so we're looking at MRVDA ourselves as a board are pushing forward to the city and the county to build a new 911 center.
Now, something you mentioned early on in your campaign and your announcement was the fact that there's a lot of red tape when it comes to businesses trying to set up shop in Las Cruces. Right. Tell us a little bit about how you want to improve things for these businesses.
Well, you know, business is the heart of what city funds are made out of. And so if we don't put business open quickly enough, then we will struggle in our budget. And over the past many years, not just these last few, but the process has become very time-consuming, a lot of red tape in getting things done. I had proposed back in 2006 a one-stop shop for doing business in permitting. And it's the type of situation where you would have your staff and those that are looking for permits to sit down one-on-one in a easier fashion to get things done so that they can move on, because those businesses are borrowing money. There's a bank involved, there's interest involved, and the city would like to have businesses open quicker, less red tape in doing so. And I think we can do that if we have given our staff a lot of rules and a lot of policies that have been added on from council to council. All of those rules need to be reviewed, and maybe some deleted and maybe some added, but the process just doesn't work right now.
What do you think about the recent call center that opened up here in Las Cruces in terms of bringing jobs here and creating more opportunities for people?
I took a tour through the call center, and that particular call center is not a sales center. It's taking calls in from consumers who are filing complaints in the financial services. So it's not them going out and selling radios or telephones. And that particular type of call center, we have two of those in this community. One's an insurance also. And I've worked on both of them in helping them understand Las Cruces through Mesilla Valley Economic Development Alliance. I sit on that board, and that's been helpful in getting those projects here in Las Cruces.
What do you think is the answer to help improve our local economy in terms of bringing businesses here and having them stay?
Well, you know, having business stay is all about economics. We have to make it affordable to get started in business, and in doing so we don't add more fees and more costs to getting started. The second thing is we have to also have enough process so that they can get their services quickly enough so that they can hook up to water and gas and sewer. And then thirdly, they have, we need to look at how we project them staying into the future. And those are manufacturing jobs, UAVs, the spaceport, and those job related to that industry. There are those technical industries that I think we have a lot of potential to, but we just haven't focused on.
A couple of weeks ago, I went to the Salsa Fest event in downtown Las Cruces, and it's been a while since I've been there, and just looking around, there's been a lot of development there. Can you talk a little bit about why it's so important to help keep that area growing?
Well, downtown area is the heart of our city, and we all know that it fell apart in the last 20 years through urban renewal, and the prior council, to me arriving, had taken a focus into revitalizing downtown, and now we've moved forward even more with that. I've been real supportive of the tax increment development financing that will help that particular area improve their own location. We're about to open the rest of North Main with a roundabout in just the end of October, and then start the south end of 2 blocks in order to make the street open again. That was where I spent all my childhood at, and that's where business was. It's where my mother worked, and that's where we spent our weekends at Rio Grande Theater and things of that entertainment. And so moving Las Cruces forward includes keeping the heart of our Las Cruces vital to our community. And
this way it can also bring more people into the area.
Absolutely, and people want to live downtown and then be able to walk and do their services in a concentrated area.
Now, there are several projects out there that I guess haven't been completed or have been put in the back burner.
Right.
One of them includes the museum that currently is at the mall.
Right.
Can you talk a little bit about why you think that it was kind of put in the backside?
Well, the city of Las Cruces has what's called a capital improvement program, and that's where priorities are laid out, and priorities that have moved ahead, other priorities have moved ahead of projects that already had funding. This project for the Museum of Nature and Science has $2 million in funding that we've had for almost 5 years. We bought a property downtown for that main purpose, the old Rio Grande building, and it's still vacant, yet we're paying rent at the mall, $70,000 a year, until we can do that. We have the money to build it, it's been designed, and yet it's been stalled for different reasons. And I object to having projects done and then put on the shelf, and we'll wait and do it later, because those dollars are not the same dollars 5 years later, and so you get less for what you had planned on. On top of the fact that a lot of people went out and applied for these grants and wanted this money, and there was momentum behind it, and then other projects have just stepped ahead. And so there's 2 projects like that, and the other one is the Intermodal System.
Does the money stay there? As you mentioned, the money changes.
It's in the bank.
It's in the bank, but
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's no fear of losing it or anything like that.
Well,
right?
on the Intermodal, there was a fear of losing it. We received that money in 2001, and in 2005 we had to encumber some money in order for the federal transportation money not to be moved back to the government. And so we bought the property at the corner of Alameda and Loman for that purpose. It's now been designed. That particular project should have been completed 3 years ago. It's unfortunate that it's just not at the top of anybody's list except mine. And we should now break ground probably January of 2012.
And then Mearshite Park, you mentioned earlier?
Mearshite is a 20-year-old project. Councilors and a mayor back then bought the property out on Motel Boulevard to move utilities out there. The utilities building was built. What's at Mearshite is all the truck repair, the auto repair, and public works. If you look at the back of the Mearshite Center, there's a lot of junkyards, I would say, right there. That would open up 16 acres. And when the property was bought on Motel Boulevard, there was a design done to move everything over there, which utilities has the largest number of vehicles to start with. So it didn't get followed through. Another project went on the shelf, and part of it got built, and then here we left our children without additional fields, playing grounds, a true addition to the parks system that would have opened up fields for soccer and baseball for our kids.
What a great segue to talk about the quality of life in Las Cruces. If elected mayor, what are your plans to help improve quality of life?
Well, quality of life includes some of these services I'm talking about. You know, the intermodal system has to do with families who, for whatever reason, don't have an automobile but still go to work and have things to do and need to get out of their home, and that would make it an improved service for them. We need to be able to move people around our community. And then secondly, our children need to be able to have things to do outside of tagging a wall. And we do have a lot of that in our community. And I think sports is one way to do that. And the museums is a second way. There's the academic side of that. And then we also have an opportunity for our seniors. Our Munson Center has just received an accreditation from the state, but we have to know that our seniors are getting younger. And so they're more active, they're baby boomers, they're looking for more activity than our traditional, maybe my parents were looking for. And you know, my dad's 84 years old and he uses one of the senior centers, but he's not looking to do exercise or anything too strenuous. But we have an aging baby boomer that wants more out of a center than a place where you have lunch and do crafts at.
Now, you've been part of the council for 8 years.
Right.
Tell me a little bit about what you think you're going to miss about being in that role.
I don't think there's anything I'm going to miss because the mayor by charter is the person that sets the pace for the community, and so I'd like to be at the head of the list setting the pace. And I have done that in every job that I've ever been in. And when I worked at Mutual Building and Loan, I was a teller and I left as vice president of the bank. I like to move forward and I like to see our projects and our community move forward.
Now, I guess if you drive around Las Cruces, you'll see a lot of billboards with your image on there. What are some of the things that you want to do right away if you're elected mayor? Well,
you know, there's 3 other seats that are open in this election, and it'll be a lot of coordinating with those that are coming in new to the council in order to set a pace and to review everybody's needs. I think that in these last few years, I've been one voice on the council wanting to finish these projects, one voice wanting to take a different direction, and I would like to see more of a collaboration between all of the councilors. My projects have been less paid attention to, I guess, over these years.
What was the reaction to people in your district when they learned that you wanted to move from that position over to being the mayor?
Well, it's funny because some candidates have already been walking in my district, and a lady called me who hadn't seen the news, and she says she apparently told the person at the door, "I'm only voting for Dolores Connor," and he said, "Well, she's not running for District 2. So she called me to ask me what happened, you know, where are you going? And so I think there's a lot of excitement in my district. I've been walking the streets a lot already. We started very early with the entire campaign, and so we've had a lot of boots on the ground already.
What do you think about your opponents in this race?
I know, obviously, the mayor better than I do the other 2 opponents. I've just recently met them, aside from Michael Fleming, but so I really don't know much about them. As the mayor, he's the mayor, he gets to set the agenda, but I want to take that step forward and move into that position.
Is it difficult doing your day-to-day routine as a councilor and then concentrating on your campaign?
It's much more difficult to be in a sitting position and run a campaign. In 2003 when I ran, I had just closed my business, so I had a lot more time on my hands. But now I have meetings and I have interviews and I have the projects that I work on and the committees that I chair. And so fitting the campaign into that is why we started really early.
Tell me, if people want to learn more about you as a candidate and your plans for the future of the city of Las Cruces, where can they go to find all that information?
They just have to go to my website. It's updated almost daily, and it's doloresconnor.com.
And on there you can also find video.
Yes, we've done some YouTube on there, and we have all of the information and my position on issues that are taking place in this campaign.
In a couple of sentences, what would you say to someone to get them to vote for you?
In a couple of sentences, I would be at the front door saying that I'm Dolores Connor. I'm born and raised in Las Cruces. I care about my community, and I want to help them be a part of the community. And I think it's very important to incorporate all of our citizens, those that have been here a long time, and those like you that have just been here a few years, and incorporate them into our culture, into our traditional neighborhoods, and to expand our growth into neighborhoods that are to come in the future.
What do you think about social networking? I know you do a lot of uploads to YouTube.
Right.
How's that working?
It's a process that takes some training, but you just have to have a lot of time for it. And so reaches a different demographic, I think. And it's kind of like the baby boomers are no longer, are now our seniors. Well, we have a generation that is very reliant on that kind of communication, and I want to be able to connect with them also.
And then you're still doing your door-to-door
Right,
campaigning.
right. Door-to-door is important.
All right. Anything else you want to add or touch on?
No, I'm just happy to be here, and I just want to remind people that voting day is November 8th of this year, and I hope to see a lot of people come out and vote. How
early will you be there to register and file your papers and stuff?
Well, registration date is September 27th. So.
Ready for it?
Yes, yes, I am.
All right, Dolores Connor, thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much.
All right, and in 2 weeks, we'll hear from other candidates who are also running for mayor of the city of Las Cruces. And remember, you can see this entire interview online at krwg.org. While you're there, you can visit our blog, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. I'm Carlos Correa. Until next time.